Okay, so today we are going to see a well-known data structure called as arrays. So as you know, how to retrieve an array, how to retrieve an element in an array. How to retrieve an element in an array. So we retrieve an element in an array using index, right? Yes, using index. So index-oriented thing, right? So for example, see, as of now, I'll teach everything in Python. Raj, try to understand it. If most of the concepts in JavaScript or Python both are same, but while coding, I'll definitely code in JavaScript as well. So there shouldn't be any problem. Okay, while explaining, it's just concept. So array you so let's so in Python we usually use list. So a list. So probably we usually have an index. So through index we usually retrieve it. So what is the runtime complexity? Runtime complexity of searching an element in an array? What is the runtime complexity? What is the runtime complexity of searching an element in an array? O of n, Raj, O of 1. So how it is O of 1? Searching an element in an array. No, you don't know the index, right? Let's say you have an array with elements 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to know if 4 is present in an array or not. So what is the runtime complexity? I don't know the index of 4, right? I don't know the index of 4. If I know the index of 4, then it's called retrieval. Retrieving an array through index. Through index or using index. So so tell me, Raj, what is the runtime complexity of this? It is O of n here because I need to, yes. So now tell me, what is the runtime complexity of retrieving an element in an array using index or through index? So let's say I want an element in the index of 3. So what is there in the 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. What is the index of 4? It is 3. So these are indexes, okay? Indexes. So now I want to retrieve an element using an index. So what is the runtime complexity of this? What is the runtime complexity of this? O of 1, right? Exactly right. Okay. So now just a second. I just got a call. Just a minute. Okay, so these are the basics of a simple data structure called as array. And let's see what kind of problems you may get in interview using these arrays. So right now, whatever I'm teaching, that's an window sliding pattern. So for any yeah, so it's all pattern called as sliding window pattern. So this pattern, this approach, you can apply to all sorts of contiguous elements, to problems like uh, find all the sum of contiguous elements, for example. Okay, before teaching this, let me explain the problem first, and then let's see how we can go from it. Okay, so let's say I have an array. This is my array. Okay, this is my array. Sorry, this is a list or array, whatever it is, list. So in this list, I have elements like 1, 3, 2, tell some random number 6, -1, 1, 4, 8, 2. Okay, so you are given an array, and what you should do now is that I'll give you let's say, so I'll give you the size. So let's say the size is 4, for example, size is 4. So I'll ask you to find the sums of contiguous array with size 4. For example, in this array, for first of 4, what is the first sum of 4 elements? 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6. What is the sum? What is the sum of these 4 elements? 12. Okay. And what is the sum of this 4 elements? 12. Okay. How much? 10. Okay. And then these 4 elements? 8. Okay. And then this 4 elements? 10, 11, 10. Okay, 10. Okay. How about this 4 elements? 12, 13, 12. And then next 4 elements? 12, 14, 15. Yes, 15. And are there any 4 elements after this? There are just 3 elements, right? We don't have the next 4. So we'll stop here. So this is what you have to do. You have to find the contiguous array, contiguous sum of all the elements in an array. Okay. This kind of problem is called as finding sums of contiguous arrays. Sums of contiguous elements in an array with size k. With size k. Okay. Right. So both of you, are you with me? Did you understand the problem? Both of you, Aravind and Raj, both of you, did you understand the problem? Yes. How about what about Raj? Raj, did you understand the problem? Yes. Okay. Okay. So now let's start coding. Okay. So how do you? So I have Python with me. Can you see the Visual Studio? Both of you, can you see Visual Studio code? Yes, okay, right. So let's start coding this problem, this particular problem. So how, now tell me how to do this. First, what we have to do, we have to how to share both at a time. Can I share this optimized video for clip? Portion of the screen. Friends, okay. Friends. Portions of the screen. Okay, it's better if I can share the entire screen. Okay. Okay. So what we have to do? We have to first we have to write a for loop where we have to take we have to extract, we have to see four elements, right? We have to take at least 4 elements. I mean, every 4 elements we have to take here. Every 4 elements we have to take, and then we'll append and then we have to sum the 4 elements, and append this to an array, right? This to an array, and this is how we solve the problem. Correct? Right? So let's start writing the code. Now, can you see the Visual Studio Code, right? Or still are you in the whiteboard? Can you see the Visual Studio? VS Code, can you see? I'm new to this. Sorry, please bear with me, okay? So now can you see? Yes, okay. Getting back to that. I don't know. Okay, fine. Okay. So first I'm writing it in Python. So first let's name the program as finding the averages, or find the sum of k. So the sum of k elements. So even we can, instead of, let's add some more complexity. Instead of summing up, why can't we do an average? So we'll find the average, the same thing. Instead of summing up, we'll find the average. Find the average sum of k elements, okay? Find the average sum of k elements. So here we'll pass the k as well as the array. Okay, clear? Both of you? Both of you are you with me in this problem? Did you understand, Raj? Okay, so let's find underscore average underscore sum underscore k. Okay, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9. Then k is equals to 4, right? Print the result. Okay, now let's write. So what, how we should write the logic? So I need to what should I do now? So I have an array. I need to take just 4 elements from the array. Okay. For in range of this len of array minus k plus 1, right? So now what happens? So I'll be running this loop from 0 till what? So probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is 1, 2, 3? Okay, this is almost like 9. So 9 minus k. K is nothing but 4. 9 minus 4. What is the 9 minus 4? It's 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. I should, okay. And then I'll run one more loop. For j in range of I plus k. Sum is equals to 0. Average sum is 2. J. And then I need to append the result. So here I'll make a result. Raj, I'll write it in JavaScript too. Just give me a second. Result, then result dot append of average sum. So here we decided to not to not to just do a sum. We decided to do an average, right? So it's just nothing but divided by k. And then return result. Is this correct? Arvind, are you able to follow me? Are you able to follow the code, Arvind? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What is 4 plus 3? 10 by 4. 10 by 4. Is it 2.5? Yes. And how about this? Okay, let's see. The result is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 6 plus 7 plus 8. This is nothing but 13, 21, 30. Okay. Okay. So what is the time complexity of this? What is the time complexity of this approach? Arvind, copy this code to your terminal and run it. Do you have Python terminal, right? Yes, run this. Okay, what is the time complexity of this approach? Okay. Run it and just let me know. Raj, I'm writing the JavaScript code. Let's say function averages underscore sum with some subarrays. I'm just making it as result res. Write the for loop here. And let I is equals to 0. I is less than array dot array dot length and minus k plus 1, right? Array dot length minus k plus 1. Then I plus plus. Just making sum of 0.0 since it is float for let j is equals to I and j is less than I plus k and j plus plus. And here AS dot AS dot push sum of divided by k. Did you do something wrong? Oh, okay. So why here it is not 7.5? Raj, sorry, Aravind, what is the problem in this code? Why it is 30.0? I'm sorry, what is it? You don't save. No, no, this is fine. I think this is good. This is right result. 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.6. Okay. In Python, we got the result as what we got in Python. 2.5, 6 dot. Oh, here. Yeah. In Python, we got something wrong. Oh, what is the problem, Arvind? Did you copy the code and ran it in your IDE? Okay, fine. Okay, Raj, did you understand this code? Okay. I'll save this code, okay? Okay. Okay, what is the runtime complexity in meanwhile? What is the runtime complexity, Raj? What is the runtime complexity of your of this algorithm? What is the runtime and space complexity? Okay. You got 120. Yeah, I found the issue. Okay. Arvind, the issue is we did not actually we did not clear the average sum, so it kept on adding. Okay, so both of the JS and Python code, both of them are having a similar result. Okay, cool. So both of you now tell me what is the runtime complexity of your respective algorithms, runtime and space complexities. So since this is your first kind of problem, like, I'll just explain this problem for today. And O of n, okay, how about O of 1 is right. So for this algorithm, O of 1 is right. Space complexity is right. How about the time complexity? Is it O of n? O of 10? No, not O of 10. No. How you got n log k? Log k should not come. Log k will come only when it is in the multiplication. When something is in multiplication, then you might get. It's not a thumb rule that you will always get log k when you see something with the multiplication here. You don't see anything. Okay, so you don't see anything with the multiplication here, right? Do you see anything with the multiplication? No. Your code is simple and clear. It's just j plus plus. Here it is I plus plus. Think again. The first loop runs for how many len of array minus k plus 1, right? So let's say it runs till len of array minus n plus k, leave all those things. And the second array runs till k elements, right? It runs till k elements, right? Second array. So what does second loop does? The second loop calculates the sum of k elements. Correct? Second loop calculates sum of k elements. What should be the runtime complexity here? It is O of k. What is the runtime complexity of this loop? O of n. So what is the total runtime complexity is O of n times k, since it is inside the for loop. Clear? Both of you. Arvind, Raj, both of you, are you clear? Do you want me to explain again? Raj, are you clear? So what is the space complexity? Space complexity of that algorithm is O of 1. Since we did not declare anything, did we declare anything? No, we did not, right? So this is not. Okay. So this is your brute force approach. What is this? This is called as brute force approach. Brute force approach is something when you tell that you can clear, you have a solution which is like O of n square. This is something similar to O of n square. O of n square, right? You can do much more better than this. This is called your brute force. That is your primary solution where you give something which is not optimized. So this is called as your brute force approach. So what the best you can do to do this? Okay, so let's see. You have this. So both of you understood the problem, understood the solution. Are you clear with the solution? Are you clear with this approach? Are you clear with this time complexity and the space complexity of this approach? Did you understand what is brute force? Okay. So now let's see. Let's see. We have this array, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So first time, what we are doing, let's k is equals to 3. What we are doing, we are calculating the sum of these 3 elements. Again, we are calculating the sum of these 3 elements. We are calculating the sum of this 3 elements till here, right? 3, 4, 5. Okay. And again, we are calculating the sum of these 3 elements. Can you see an overlap here? So once you calculate these 3 elements, can you see an overlap? So you're doing the same work again and again. So you calculate the sum of these 3 elements. What you have done, again, you are calculating the sum of these 3 elements, where if you see, sum of these 2 elements is already calculated in the previous sum, but still again you are calculating, correct? Do you agree with me? For example, you calculate sum of 1, 2, 3. What is sum of 1, 2, 3? What is the sum of 1, 2, 3? 6, correct. Now you start from 2, 3, and 4. If you see here, 2, 3, 2, 3 is already calculated here. What is the sum of 2, 3, 4? 9. 2, 3, and 4 is 9. Okay, so now what you're doing, 3, 4, 5. What is the sum of 3, 4, 5? 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, you're calculating. If you see here, you have already calculated sum of 3 and 4 here. Again, you're calculating here. This is your brute force approach. That is what I'm explaining. And if you see 4, 5, 6, what is the 4, 5, 6? 10, 15, right? And you've already calculated the sum of 4 and 5. So now tell me, how can you solve this problem? How can you solve this problem? So once you have calculated the sum of 1, 2, 3, you got sum of 6. For second time, what you can do with the you can take out the previous element and you can add the next element. So what is the sum of this? 10 minus 1, 9. For the next element, what you can do? You can take out the previous element, add the next element. What you will get? 12. Same way. So take out the previous element. What is the previous element there? It's 3. add the next element. We'll get 15. So this is going to be your, this is nothing but window pattern. You see a window, this is kind of window, you'll just move this window here. Again, you'll move the, so it is something like a window. This is called a sliding window pattern. So you slide the window. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So now at the first you'll calculate this sum, right? So for the second time, what you will do, you'll move the slide of window here. For the next time, for the next, the other time, you'll move this till here. Okay, clear? Both of you. This is called as sliding window pattern. This is how you calculate the sum of contiguous arrays problem. This is a sum of contiguous arrays problem. I'll tell you there are lots of variations in it. This is just a starting. How this is starting to your sliding window pattern. This comes under array data structures. So in arrays data structure, you know what is your how you retrieve an array, what is the time complexity of inserting, deleting. Okay, so yeah, we did not discuss about the delete and inserts. Okay, I'll discuss. Okay, so did you understand this pattern? Both of you, did you understand? Arvind, sorry, Raj. Yes. So can we code for this? Will you code for me? Will you code this for me for tomorrow's class? Sliding window pattern. Okay, code this tomorrow. Send to me in WhatsApp. Okay, before tomorrow's class. Let me see what you have done. Okay, you understood the approach, you understood the solution. Yeah, you take 4 numbers, 4 or 3, whatever it is. Usually you make it for k, right? So what I'll substitute k. Don't worry. Okay. So now tell me, what would be the time complexity of this approach? What would be the time complexity of this approach? So in this approach, what you will do, you will just write a for loop and you will append the result, right? You will do whatever the logic I've told, you will do it. So what would be the time complexity of this? What would be the time complexity? O of n. It may not be O of k because you will be running this algorithm throughout for n minus k elements, right? N minus k elements, because last 2 elements you will not write. For example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and so if I say k is equals 12, 2, so for 1, 2, one time, 2, 3, 3, 4, and you will not do for 4th element, right? You will not do for 4th element because you don't have it. So total n elements are 4, and if it is k is equals 2, so how many times you're running it through the loop? You'll run it for n minus k plus 1. Is it right? N minus k plus 1. What is n? N 4 minus 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it would be O of n minus k plus 1. We can simply call it as O of n. Clear? Both of you? Arvind and Raj, both of you clear? This is how you calculate the time complexities. Yes? No, actually I'm getting lots of this, but I don't know. See, if you have any questions, if you don't understand, it's your responsibility to get it clear. Okay? If it is something, do you think that every time I calculate time complexity, is it varying from one approach to the other, or is it the same? You feel it is same, or is it different? It is varying. So where it is varying? See, the basic logic behind calculating the time space complexity is the same. Okay, it is all that how many times the loop is running, how many times the loop is running. That is the thing. Okay, so probably see, usually we tell it as O of n because I'm running throughout the array, so I'll just take it as O of n. But in order to make you understand how it is O of n, I'm just telling you. So if you write this, okay, tomorrow you'll write this algorithm, right? You will understand why it is O of n. If you don't understand why it is O of n, again we'll discuss that. We'll discuss this in tomorrow's class. Fine. It is all the same. There is no difference in time space complexity calculations. So whenever I write it in equation, you feel it is difficult. But you see, you will write this n minus k plus 1 in your for loop. For sure, you will write this. For for loop, if you write for for I in range of len of array plus, this is nothing but, what is len of array? Here, in this case, it is n plus 1 minus k. That is n minus k plus 1. You will write in this way. If you write in this way, then only you will be able to get that number of elements. So 2, you'll get all the 2 elements. Otherwise, you will not get it. So this is the for loop condition, right? So I've just expressed that for loop condition and calculate the time space complexity. Clear? It is all the same. You have to calculate based on the condition in the for loop. If you write this code in your Python, you have to express this code in terms of this. There is no any other way. Okay, clear? Okay, right. Element in an array. If I would like to delete 2, what would be time space complexity? So if I delete the element 2, what happens? I have to search an element first. So if it's nothing but searching and deleting. So it would be O of n. So if I delete an element at the start, if I deleting, so what would be the time space complexity? Arvind, did you get why it is O of n? Yes, okay, cool. So see, initially for few days, for 2 weeks, it is little bit hard to understand. Okay, for 2 weeks, I understand. if you're really new to this algorithms, it is a little bit hard, but don't lose heart. It is not that hard. It is simple. If you understand the logic, it is very, very simple. You'll be able to crack this like anything. You'll be a pro. I'm telling you. Generally, people, when they start the algorithms, they think it is hard and they lose it. They don't study algorithms. Okay. But if you stick to those hard things for just for 1 or 2 weeks, then it is very easy. It is very easy. And that is the difference. Why people don't study algorithms? It's just because when they get introduced to this course, they feel it is hard, they don't understand, they leave it. Whoever thinks it is possible, they see the possibility. Clear? So don't lose heart. If it is hard, just ask me 2 or 3 times. No problem at all. I'm ready to explain you. I'm not going to rush you anywhere. I'm ready to explain you. It is very easy. Believe me. I'm here to help you. Always, whenever whenever you got stuck somewhere, you can always call me in WhatsApp. I know Raj is in India. Arvind, you are in here. You are in US, so you can call me directly. Raj, you can call me in WhatsApp. Wherever you got stuck, you can call me, and I'm ready. I'm here to help you out. Okay. Tell me now. Whenever I delete an element in, I delete an element one. What is the what is the time space? What is the time complexity? What is the time complexity of this? Okay. So yeah, now see, I delete an element one. Okay, right. So I got deleted. So what will be at the index of 0? I've deleted 1. What is at the index 0? What is at the index 0? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Undefined. One minute. I think it's better if I run the code and explain. Okay. You are able to see my Visual Studio, right? Yes. Okay. So I'm deleting L of 0. Print L of. So, okay. This is what I asked you, right? If I delete an element, if I delete 1, okay. If I delete 1, after deletion, what would be at the index 0, right? If I run this code, what happens? Arvind, now tell me what happens. Okay, I'm sorry, I got a message. Okay. I mean, the length of the list becomes 3. No, I don't want the length. I just want what would be at L of 0. What would be at 0th index? 2. So now, Raj, what would be at the L of 0 when you do the same thing in JScript, JavaScript. Raj? Correct. Okay. So it is basics. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't change with the programming language. If it is an array, so all the programming languages, that is why it's called as, data structure. So it is nothing to do with your language. So all the languages, if you remove an element from an array, so what happens is that if you remove an element from an array, what happens is that, so 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you remove an element from what you remove an element. So remaining elements 2, 3, 4, right? So the indexes will get shifted. Indexes will get shifted for all the remaining elements. So indexes will get shifted, right? Indexes, correct? Without, if that indexes doesn't shift, how will you be able to retrieve an element? It is not possible. So now tell me, what would be the runtime complexity of this? What would be the runtime complexity? If you delete an element from an array, what would be the runtime complexity? Exactly right, O of n. There is only one exception, that is nothing but whenever you delete a last element in an array, what would be the runtime complexity? So if I delete an element by index, the last index, yes, O of 1. So one more thing, if I delete an element without using the index by an element, by a search element, then it is always O of n. Never forget, it is always O of n. If you delete an element from an array with index, then also it is O of n, but for the last element it is O of 1. So this is called as best time complexity, and this is the worst time complexity. So we always consider worst time complexity. We always tell it is O of n, but particularly when an interviewer asks you that if an element is at the end of an array, what would be the time complexity? It is always O of 1. Clear? Raj, is that clear for you? Okay. Yes. So now I've discussed about delete. Okay, let's talk about insert in the same way. Insert. So insert is what do you mean by insert? Insert is nothing but inserting an element at an index. So you have the index and you have the element. So what would be the runtime complexity of this? So if I insert an element at 0th index with a value of 0, what would be the runtime complexity? What happens now? I'll insert 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What happens to the indexes? Indexes will get shifted. Yes, exactly. This is O of n. Okay. Again, so in Python, we call it as append. So that is adding at the end. So what would be the what would be the runtime complexity of adding an element at an end? So if I append something here, if I append an element here, what would be the runtime complexity? O of 1. Yes. So this is about the arrays data structure. Clear? Whenever you are writing a code, always have this. So now you know how why it is O of n, why it is O of 1. You know this, right? So whenever now you are writing a software, you will have this in mind and write a better efficient software. Clear? At least whenever you're doing something with list, or whenever you're trying to do something with array, so you know how to handle this. Clear? Right? Fine. That's all for the day. Tomorrow we'll discuss about the optimized solution for that. Okay.